The Assembly is now in session. Assemblymember Mainshine notices the absence of a quorum. The sergeants at arms will prepare the chamber and bring in the absent members. The clerk will call the roll.
Ashajian, Alejo, Allen, Baker, Bigelow, Bloom, Bonilla, Bonta, Bro, Brown, Burke, Calderon, Campos, Chang, Chow, Chavez, David Chu, Kansan Chu, Cooley, Cooper, DeBobne, Daly, Daly, Dodd, Eggman, Frazier, Gaines, Gallagher, Christina Garcia, Eduardo Garcia, Gatto, Gibson, Gomez, Gonzalez, Gordon, Gray, Grove, Hadley, Harper, Hernandez, Holden, Irwin, Jones, Jones Sawyer, Kim, Lackey, Levine, Linder, Lopez, Lowe, Mainshine, Mathis, Mays, McCarty, Medina, Melendez, Mullen, Nazarian, Obernolte, O'Donnell, Olson, Patterson, Quirk, Rendon, Ridley Thomas, Rodriguez, Salas, Santiago, Steinorth, Stone, Thurmond, Ting, Wagner, Waldron, Weber, Wilk, Williams, Wood. Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. If I could ask the members to take their seats, turn your keys on, show me that you're present. I'm good. I just took care of it. Thank you. Thank you, members. If I could ask you to take your seats, please. We want to hear your words of wisdom. So I'm going to wait until...
So you might stay for the entire session? I might.
Thank you, members. We ask our guests and our visitors in the rear of the chamber and in the gallery to please stand for the prayer. The day's prayer will be offered by our Assembly Chaplain, Father Constantine Papadimos. Father.
Good afternoon. Let us pray. Lord, the prophet Isaiah said, "The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. And for those who dwell in the land of the shadow of death, light has shined." Lord, you are that light. And if we are to truly follow you, it means turning away from our self-centeredness and turning our life over to your control and direction. Help us to choose to make our life God-centered. Shape our thoughts, our actions, and even our personality so that they reflect your light shining on us. Amen.
Thank you. We'll ask you to please remain standing and join us in the flag salute. Let me ask Assemblymember Calderon to lead us in the pledge.
Right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Reading of the previous day's journal.
Assembly Chamber, Sacramento, Tuesday, January 5th, 2016. The Assembly at 7 a.m. Honorable Richard S. Gordon, Assembly
Mr. Holden moves. Ms. Waldron seconds that the reading of the previous day's journal be dispensed with. Presentations of petitions, there are none. Introduction and reference of bills will be deferred. Reports of committees will be deemed read and amendments deemed adopted. Messages from the governor, there are none. Messages from the Senate, there are none. Under motions and resolutions, absences, there are no absences for the day. Mr. Holden, you're recognized for your motions.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I request unanimous consent to suspend Assembly Rule 118 and allow Assembly members Hadley, Kim, and Rendon to have guests and photographers on the floor today. Mr. Hadley and Mr. Rendon will have guests seated at their desks for a portion of the session. Madam Speaker, I request unanimous consent to suspend Assembly Rule 45.5 and allow Assembly members Chu, Cooper, Gomez, Gray, Medina, and Ting to speak on adjourned memories today.
Without objection, the request is granted.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Members and guests, we have members who have guests in the chamber today. Ms. Garcia, are you ready to introduce your guest?
Afternoon, members. Please help me recognize Leadership California in the gallery today. Leadership California is a network of accomplished women dedicated to advancing the leadership role women play in impacting business, social issues, and public policy. Leadership California is a unique program designed to develop and mobilize female leaders. From corporate, academic, state, and community organizations across the state, Leadership California draws a diverse group of executive women into California issues and trend program. Alumni gain new insight on complex global, national, and regional issues facing California. They are celebrating their 25th anniversary today. Members are invited to a reception at 5:30 this evening at the Stanford Mansion. Welcome, Leadership California, and thank you for your work to advance leadership skills amongst women.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia. Mr. Hadley, are you prepared to introduce your guest?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, I'm pleased to welcome my son Jack to the floor of the Assembly today. Jack is the oldest of our 4 children. He's a third-year cadet at the U.S. Military Academy at West Point, and he leaves later this week for the Middle East. He's an Arabic major, and he gets to spend a semester in Jordan. So thanks for coming up, Jack, and thank you for welcoming him, members.
Thank you, Mr. Hadley. Business on the daily filed, second reading. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 708 and 1355.
All bills will be deemed read and amendments will be adopted. Assembly third reading. We will move to file item 106, ACR 110, Wilk, for the purpose of third reading. Ms. Kim, are you prepared to proceed?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Would you like me to do
the clerk will read.
Assembly Concurrent Resolution 110 by Assemblymember Wilk and others relative to Korean American Day.
Ms. Kim, you may proceed.
Some clarification, Madam Speaker. Am I doing the guest introduction first or introduce the bill?
Introduce the bill. We will take up the bill, and after the bill has been taken up and dispensed with, you will be able to introduce your guest.
Thank you very much. Madam Speaker and members, I'm honored to rise to introduce ACR 110 today to recognize January 13 of 2016 as the Korean American Day. This morning, we spent much of the time in thought and prayer with members of the Korean community, reflecting on the significance of those brave men, women, and children who first came to this country 113 years ago. You all know that I'm an immigrant from South Korea, and most immigrant families did. My parents worked very hard to ensure that I receive a quality education and achieve the American dream here in the United States. ACR 110 is an important measure celebrating the important contributions Korean Americans have had on California and the sacrifices made to do it. There is a vibrant Korean community in my district, and many have made a great impact in many important fields such as finance, business, medicine, law, education, military, and sports, just to name a few. Members, by passing ACR 110, we can spread the message of appreciation and pride on our cultural heritage and diversity that we enjoy in this great state. So I thank you for considering this ACR 110, and I would like to ask the first roll for co-authors. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Wilk, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I, too, rise and commend my colleague from Orange County in presenting ACR 110, a resolution recognizing the 13th of January as Korean American Day. This resolution recognizes the important contributions that Korean Americans have made, especially here in California. 20% of our nation's Korean population lives in Southern California, with a very strong presence in my district, the 38th. Since 1903, Korean Americans have made positive impacts on our culture. Korean Americans have become an integral part of mainstream American society and have made important contributions as Californians in the field of science, technology, law, medicine, education, sports, media, the arts, the military, as well as government. I'm proud to be a joint author on this measure with the first Korean American female legislator, my colleague from Fullerton. And I urge and I vote.
Thank you, Mr. Wilk. Ms. Baker, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank our colleague from Fullerton for bringing this resolution. It is a terrific acknowledgement and recognition of the contribution of Korean Americans and how they enrich our lives individually and all Californians across the state. And I know we all have experience with this that we can share. I share, seeing my own personal experience. My first trip away from home, staying overnight with anyone other than my grandparents, was to Korea. And a student study trip when I was in high school that I stayed in Seoul and had the privilege of staying with a family with children my age and getting to study there for a time in the summer and tour the country and experience firsthand Korean culture in Korea. And then I wondered when I came home, gosh, I have to say goodbye to that, and came to California and saw and was so pleased what a rich Korean American culture we have here. That has made my district a thriving, wonderful district where Korean Americans teach, raise families, run businesses, operate charities, and are just a vibrant part of our community. So I say to our colleague from Fullerton and all Korean Americans in California, 감사합니다 for bringing this forward and urge your support.
Thank you. Members, Ms. Chang, you're recognized. And if we can hold the applause, I would thank you for that. Ms. Chang.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise in support of ACR 110 recognizing January 13th as Korean American Day. Like so many other immigrants, Korean Americans found a home and blossomed in the United States and California through hard work, community engagement, and commitment to family. Since first arriving in the U.S., the Korean American community has made countless contributions to our diverse culture. They are soldiers, doctors, artists, engineers, and a crucial part to what makes our state and country great. As a myriad of immigrants came to this country in the 50s fleeing poverty and seeking opportunity, Korean Americans truly shine as examples of what can be achieved in these United States. In California especially, their rich culture can be felt throughout our communities and I am proud to have a significant Korean American population within my own district. I thank my colleague from Fullerton for introducing this legislation and ask others to join me in supporting it.
Thank you, Ms. Grove. You are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I too rise in support of ACR 110. For the second year in a row, we have gathered in this building at the invitation of my colleague, Assemblymember Kim, with Korean Christian pastors across the state to offer up a prayer of thanksgiving to God for the first day in celebrating the 121 Koreans that left Korea and then came to the United States. 1/3 of them died on that journey and never put their foot on American soil to pursue the American dream. And I want to thank Assemblymember Kim for bringing that resolution forward along with my other colleague. And I want to just thank her for also inviting those pastors across the state to come and invite God into this chamber, into this building, and to celebrate the Christian faith that the Koreans are so valiant about upholding. And I want to thank the Korean community for all the support and what they bring to America when you look at their military service, their business, their entrepreneurship, their education, their military service. And I'm very proud to support this resolution. 축복합니다.
Thank you, Mr. Chu. There will be a moment where we get to applause. It is the decorum of the floor that we hold our applause until we come to that moment. So I would respectfully ask everyone to do that. Mr. Chu, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. On behalf of the Asian Pacific Islander Caucus, I also join in asking colleagues to support this resolution recognizing Korean American Day. Like many of our colleagues, I have a significant Korean American population in my district, and we have all seen firsthand the tremendous impact of this community. I want to welcome our Korean American church leaders and other community leaders who are here. In addition to that, we've seen so many contributions in business, in law, in medicine, in technology, in schools, in sports, in media, and in the arts. And on a personal note, I was first invited 25 years ago to stay in San Francisco by a Korean American friend, and I will thank her for 25 years later for that. So with that, I ask that you support this resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Chu. Mr. Ting, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I also rise on behalf of our caucus, our API caucus, to honor Korean American Day. Like my colleague from Dublin, I also had an opportunity to visit Korea a number of years ago. And for those of you who really haven't had an opportunity to see Seoul and see the cultural richness, see the history, see the amazing people and the infrastructure that's been going on, it's quite an amazing feat. So it's no wonder that when we have so many Korean American immigrants come to California and have made such amazing contributions, all you have to do is take one visit to their homeland to see where it comes from. And again, I'm very honored to join the rest of my colleagues in honoring this very rich community in our state. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ting. Mr. Cooley, you are recognized.
Colleagues, on this day, I'm particularly pleased to rise in recognition of Korean American Day. Just yesterday, a Korean American congregation started for the first time meeting in my church's facility. Over the decades, we have welcomed congregations of Slavics, Hmong, other groups. And so yesterday was a milestone day in Rancho Cordova as a Korean American congregation established itself in my church building. Today we celebrate the broader theme of their entry and deep involvement in American life. I've had the privilege of joining with Korean American groups as they come periodically to the United States to celebrate joint breakthroughs in science and technology that kind of fueled this country's and this world's future. So it's just an honor to be here today in recognition of this special event, 2 milestones in 2 days, reflecting upon the importance of Korean American community to American life. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cooley. Mr. Chavez, you are recognized.
Thank you, and I thank all the members for their comments on how the Korean community touches their district. I'd like to take a different perspective. In 1978, I was promoted to captain in the Marine Corps on the Imjin River. The Imjin River is a dividing point between North and South Korea. Throughout my career serving the Pacific, there's an exercise called Team Spirit. The final one was in 1993, where American forces would solidify the defense of South Korea against North Korea. Why I think that's important is because it was just last week when the rumor of hydrogen bombs are being used in North Korea and the impact it would have in South Korea and in Japan. By us recognizing Koreans within our community, by sending a clear message of our respect of the Korean people, is the surest way that we can maintain safety on that peninsula. This is actually one of the things we're doing that has much more implications than we have in California. It sends a clear message across the Pacific Ocean. So for that reason, and the fear of a thermonuclear weapon rumored to be done by North Korea, the recent testing of a submarine to launch an ICBM by the North Koreans in last year. These are troubled times overseas, and we need to do things like this to show our support for Korea. So I'll be strongly supporting this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chavez. Seeing no other members to speak, I would ask Ms. Kim, do you want to close or restate your request?
Thank you, Speaker and members, especially those members who spoke in support of this ACR 110 resolution. As a proud member of the API caucus myself, I couldn't be happier and prouder to be able to do this. And when I first came to join the members here in this chamber, I didn't realize the impact of my presence being here. I am currently the only Korean American serving in the state legislature. And it's just an odd feeling to be able to stand right here. And every day I serve with you, I think about why is it that I'm here at this particular time to represent not only my 65th Assembly District, but the opportunity that is given to be able to serve the people of California. And then I recognize, as a Christian myself, it is not I, but God who have put me right here and allow me to serve with all of you. And as the only Korean American, the API caucus has welcomed me very warmly and allowed me to carry that resolution and introduce it. And this year is no different. So I want to thank all my colleagues who serve with me as a member of the API caucus, and all my colleagues here on this chamber, all 80 of us, recognizing the contributions and the sacrifices hundred-some Koreans initially made 113 years ago. And today, the Korean Americans excel in all fields. And I, being one of the very few Korean Americans in the United States serving in politics, it is no small feat. So it is an honor for me to join you and for you to be speaking in support of this resolution year after year, helping us to recognize our community. I want to thank you. So I again request all members on the floor to join me in supporting this by becoming the co-authors of ACR 110. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Kim. She is asking the first roll call to be open for co-authors on ACR 110. The clerk will open the roll. Members, we have 76 co-authors are added. We can take a voice vote on this item. All those in favor say aye. Nay, the ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Ms. Kim, I'll return to you to recognize at your desk your guests for introduction.
Thank you. Thank you again, Madam Speaker and members. Today we have distinguished guests from the Korean American community from up and down the state. I have about 30 members who have driven 8 hours all the way from Southern California, and joined by 20-some additional members from Northern California, right here in Sacramento. So let me first recognize those of us joining us in the gallery. Please welcome members of the Korean American Foundation and members of the Council of Korean Churches. And in the back of the chambers, I'm joined by First Reverend Seung-gi Min, President of Council of Korean Churches of Orange County. Reverend Ho-woo Lee, Executive Vice President, Council of Korean Churches of Orange County. Mr. Sang-woon Park, President, Korean American Federation of Sacramento. Mr. Sang-won Park, Honorary President of Korean American Foundation, USA. Thank you, members, for helping me to recognize these outstanding Korean community leaders and commending them for their outstanding contribution and service. Thank you very much.
Okay, members, returning to announcements and then adjournments in memory, let me give a welcome to a few guests who've joined us today. As is our custom and practice, we would like to recognize a few of our own. Former Speaker and Senator Robert Hertzberg is here. Senator, Assembly Member, and Majority Leader Charles Calderon is here today. Senator Isidore Hall has joined us. And former Assembly Member Pedro Nava is with us. Is he telling me I'm missing someone?
What?
Wachowski.
Wachowski. Yeah.
And let me also recognize and acknowledge Senator Bob Wachowski.